Hello, MKP land. Be quitting in Freeman. This is my very last video message to all of you. You may have noticed that I've deleted almost all of my previous video posts. Now, for those of you who want to know what in the world is going on, I was placed on the limited access list that used to be called the no staffing list. The reason I was placed on there is because MKP did not like my post on social media, and I will show you exactly what that post was. So this was a poster that I had created for a presentation they were doing. And as you can see, I put the international no symbol on that, saying do not attend this post. And the reason I did that is because this was a post they put together, presentation they put together, post the George Floyd torture/murder tragedy. And my thought on this event was this did not fit the systemic racism and oppression that is going on in America. This is a presentation on individual transformation, and that has absolutely nothing to do with the systemic racism, oppression that led to this tragedy of murder and torture. The fact that this was put on immediately after George Floyd is demonstrative that the MKP USA board has no understanding of racism and classism within America. That's why I did this. I had also asked to speak with them and say, hey guys, you're going in the wrong direction. I'd like to talk with you about what you're doing. I got no response. Why? Because I'm not good enough for them to have a conversation with. That is, I'm not black enough for them to have a conversation with. I'm not black enough black man for them to have a conversation with. Who are the black enough black men? Well, that's the certified black leaders. They're the ones who are the good enoughs for them to have a conversation with. And that's the systemic racism going on in MKP. So they did not like the post that I created, and they chose to put me on the restricted access list. We attempted to have a what they called a dialogue with CRIT. Unfortunately, that was fraught with dishonesty on their part, a lack of integrity on their part. They made commitments that they would follow through on, and they did not follow through on. They did things that were highly unethical. And I chose to walk away from them. So here I am. Here they are. They are using words about me that such as offensive, disruptive, pattern of behavior. Those are buzzwords and expressions to make someone to look bad. And my response to that is, I am offended by the disruptive pattern of behavior that of racism and classism that MKP has perpetuated for years upon me and others, resulting in racial oppression that has demonstrated itself in this high-tech lynching of me. And that's exactly what this is, a high-tech lynching. Now, as far as my so-called pattern of behavior, I'm quite proud of my pattern of behavior. And I will show you what I mean. So when I was a member of MKP Metro, I would bring out how the administration of Metro was not following the established protocols. the established proposals that were passed and approved. They were just doing their own thing without even considering them. Men had gone through sweat and blood to pass these proposals and approve them, and they were just ignoring them. And men's egos did not like the fact that I was bringing up, hey, you're not following established protocols. So then they chose to exclude me. That, again, is a part of the racism of MKP. When MKP first established working through its multiculturalism in the early 2000s, instead of establishing it, putting it through in the leader body, working in a team fashion, they were shoving it down men's throats. I mean, you think about it, multiculturalism with shoving it down men's throats in a dictatorship fashion, as opposed to doing it in a democratic fashion. And they were choosing not to listen to men. Men had feelings and thoughts and judgments they needed to share. And they had no desire to hear what men had to say. So I came up with a strategy, executed, to encourage men to step up and speak. It worked. And a lot of the men who were involved in the multiculturalism did not like that. But it worked. Men did step up to speak. The democratic process did occur. I'm very happy with that pattern of behavior that I did. There was a conflict between gay men and men who define themselves as USSA, unwanted same-sex attraction. The men who have the unwanted same-sex attraction were being treated as second-class citizens, and they were being discriminated against. And I stood up and advocated for them. I'm very proud of myself for doing that. Unfortunately, they were, in fact, shafted. Again, that's a part of the classism of MKP. Within the elder body, I was a part of that body. I left that elder talk list because one of the elders used the expression tar baby to make a point, and absolutely none of the other elders raised any type of stink, any type of objection. And when that occurred, I realized this is a body of men that I don't want to be a part of. Within MKP for years, they had no policy and no objections to violence and threats of violence within our circles. So for about 3 years, I protested, I broke the EULA, I sent out thousands of emails to thousands of men, what I called civil disobedience, for MKP to put in a policy for men to instruct men and to let men know violence and threats of violence are inappropriate in our circles, and to instruct men, to coach men on how to handle situations like that. Thankfully, in 2018, Dan Baldwin stepped up to the plate and put that policy in place. So I am very proud of the pattern of behavior that I have exhibited in MKP. Now, MKP's staff, board of directors, their egos may not have liked that. However, if they simply had talked with me, there would have no need for them to be offended by my choices. However, that's life. That's the pattern of behavior in the USA when white men do not talk with the black leadership civil rights movement, unfortunately. Now, unfortunately, again, MKP men have exhibited so many unethical examples of behavior. As an example, when we had that so-called dialogue with Crit, post that meeting, the men whom we were told would be the facilitators suddenly put out a recommendation. We were not told they were going to do that. Within that recommendation, They made an insinuation that I was going through some sort of mental breakdown. That is unethical. Men doing armchair diagnosing. And actually, they had a Zoom conference call, sat down, and decided to put that in writing, convinced themselves that was okay to do. Completely unethical. And when we brought it to their attention, didn't even make any kind of retraction. It's unacceptable. And on our end, we will not accept that, and we will always fight that to the day we die, that MKP USA must issue a retraction. That is demonstrative of the lack of integrity and accountability of MKP USA. Now, these are the examples going on. And again, as I said, this is my very last video message. And again, I've deleted the majority of posts I've made for transparency and integrity's sake. I'm attaching to this post audio files. You may listen to them or not. The choice is yours. Again, thank you all for the wonderful support that you have given to me, especially to MKP South Africa. Peace out. Have a wonderful life.